Hey guys, before I talk about the game for a second, can you guys hear me? Okay, I just got stopped by Leonard Hamilton, Coach Hamilton out in the hallway. I saw Leonard this morning during his practice, but these things that are coming up for him in the National Hall of Fame. Leonard Hamilton deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's a good friend. He's been a friend for a long time. When I was starting out at North Carolina, he was at Kentucky. But what he's done in his record, and I mean, guys, more than likely he's going to win the league again this year, second year in a row. It's hard. There's 15 teams in this league. That right there is really, really hard. And he lost 2 or 3 guys that were drafted, 2, I know, at least in the first round. But he came back again. He's playing 10 or 11 guys all the time. He is a Hall of Fame coach, and I feel very honored and blessed to call him a friend. But we got lucky today. They didn't do what he normally does in the second half, but that's a Hall of Fame coach out there, and I hope that works out for him in the voting because he really deserves it. People always say, well, look at his record early. He didn't have basketball schools or anything like that, but he made every one of them better. So other than that, and I do love Leonard. I love my team more. No question about that. I told Bubba and Steve, we were walking over here, it reminded me of the Florida State game. When I was coaching at Kansas, I was watching it on TV when Carolina made the big comeback in the second half. But first half, we were about as ugly as we could be, 25% from the floor, 14% from three-point line, turned it over a million times. And I told the team if we'd go out in the second half and get a score, we had the ball to start the half, let's score and get one stop, and then score again and get one more stop, we'd be right back in the game. And I really felt that way. I thought that the little push we made at the end of the first half was big to get it to 10, and I was ticked off that we gave up that basket at the end of the half to make it 12. But I thought those guys that were in the game at that point gave us a lift. And so we did. We got 2 scores and got 2 stops, and then they had a couple more turnovers, and so we got more than the 2 stops, and we kept scoring. Walker Kessler was the one big guy that I thought was positive in the first half. So we started him in the second half, and I thought he was sensational. I think I was really, really discouraged at half because we only had 2 assists. We ended up having 9 in the second half. So it was 9 out of 16 baskets. That's the way we're supposed to play. But the first half, their pressure was so big on us that we stood. RJ and Caleb, our 2-point guards, had 0 assists. They kept dribbling the ball sideways, east and west. But I think Walker was huge for us, to say the least. Caleb was much more effective putting the ball in the basket in the second half, 6 for 6 from the foul line. Kerwin 4 for 4 from the foul line, 14 out of 14 from the foul line in the second half. But I just think defensively we were a lot better in the second half. And then I think also they turned it over, and that helped us. But I think making the free throws, and we got fortunate too, because at Florida State, they make 26 out of 27, and today they missed some key free throws in the second half that helped us.
Brendan Marks, go ahead.
Hey, Roy, congratulations on win number 900. You mentioned Walker was sensational. What was working for him today? And this game is obviously his best yet at UNC. How have you seen him grow since he first arrived to be capable of doing what he did today?
Well, I think, guys, what people don't realize that this young man had 2 14-day close contact quarantines, and he never tested positive. And that second 14 stretch was the 2 weeks right before practice started. And so he missed that time right before practice started. And in Asheville, one game, I put him in, and we called a play, and he looked at me like I was talking Chinese. And he's so great a kid. He cares so much. I mean, he cares so much, he beats himself up. And I think that we've tried to get him out of that. If he misses a shot, he's still thinking about it 5 possessions later. So been trying to get him out of that. His knees have been giving him a problem. I told him he might still be growing. But you take away what he's done from that point to now, he just got a bad start to our season, okay? Missing 14 days right before we start playing is tough. And at that same time, his shot wasn't going in as much as it used to, and he started worrying about that. But I love kids that worry. They show you that they care. And this is a kid that cares. And you look back, and I don't know, you guys got the stats, his last 4 games or 5 games, he's gotten a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And he deserved the time. And Garrison was struggling. I got mad at Garrison for missing the box out and put him right back in. And Garrison had given the tired signal. And so he was ready to go. He goes back in, and Walker Kessler understood immediately. And I think that then when I put him back in again, I took him out one time because he was tired. But I just love it for the kid because he beats himself up, but he cares. And again, I've said many, many times, give me a kid that cares. That's a kid that's going to really get better. So to answer the question, he's been getting better. Today, the pace of the game early, up and down, the guys were finding him around the basket, and he's a great finisher. And even on the inbounds play when he knocked in that 10-foot jumper. So I just thought he was phenomenal for us. And on the defensive end of the floor at the end of the first half, he was one of those guys in there that had at least one block and maybe two during that stretch as well. So I just as happy as I can be for him. And he's one of those guys that I always say, do the best you can because you never know when you're going to be called on. And he was called on today, but he's been called on the last 4 games as well. I think he was big in every game we've been the last 4 or 5 games.
Thank you.
CL Brown.
Roy, how much can a win like this serve as a springboard, especially coming off of the performance against Marquette?
CL, I don't know. I mean, think about it, guys. God almighty, I would have thought last week's game against Louisville would have been a springboard too, and the daggum diving board broke, and everybody fell in the pond. But I think the guys appreciate how hard they had to work on the defensive end in the second half, and I think how going to the free throw line and making the free throws are things that they're going to remember as well. So I'm hopeful, but yeah, we've got 4 or 5 hours to enjoy this. And then tomorrow we got quick practice and get on the plane and go to Syracuse. The schedule's been a difficult schedule for us. And this turnaround quick like this has been something that I've seen coming down the road, but they'll enjoy this until about midnight tonight.
Andrew Jones.
Coach, the dribble drives were a bit of a problem in the first half, but not as much in the second half. What did you guys do differently to keep them from having that much success driving to the basket after halftime?
Well, we were a little better covering the basketball, but close to the end of the first half, RJ got beat on the drive, and the guy goes all the way to the basket, and we had Caleb and Anthony on the right side. And at timeout, I said, guys, you got to get involved. You got to come in and help. So the very next play after the timeout, the guy did the same thing. And Anthony came in and helped, and then Walker Kessler came over and blocked the shot. So we had people trying to guard, not just one guy trying to guard the ball and the other 4 guys watching. First half was not good defensively. It was so ugly. It was ridiculous, but we were better in the second half. But also we caught Florida State when they missed some shots, even missed a dunk, and like I said, missed a couple of free throws. I like 49 points in the second half a lot better than 29 in the first.
Adam Smith, go ahead.
Roy, I know you want to win every game you play, but given the way the first half had gone with just all the problems in it, you know, you're playing the best team in the league probably, and it seems like you're just kind of drowning in things. To be able to turn it against that team and to do what you did in the second half is, I guess, is there an extra satisfaction just the way you won this and the way you went about getting out of what you had dug yourself into?
You know, Adam, it could be. I don't think too much in those terms, but I do know that in the first half, I thought they were 3 calls that I didn't really like, and all of a sudden my team is complaining on every call. And my gosh, I look at the video board, it was an illegal screen that Amato caught. Dayron did hook the guy. And so I had to get on him about those kind of things. But that, I think, in the second half, we just played. You can't control what the other team does to some degree. You can't control what the officials do. So you got to play. But I thought that we showed our immaturity in the first half, blaming everybody else instead of being accountable. And, you know, I was sure that some of them were wrong. Maybe the tape's going to show me, but that I told the officials, hey, you guys, even though I disagreed with 3 of them, I thought they were all 3 wrong. I made 33 mistakes. My team made 33 mistakes. So they weren't nearly as bad as I was in the first half. But I do think we showed some immaturity in the first half and showed some maturity in the second half.
Luke DeCock, go ahead.
Roy, we ask you all the time when your team misses a bunch of free throws, what you're going to do to fix it. Did you do anything this time to get the free throws dialed in? And can you get some confidence from making those in that key situation?
You know, Luke, I do think you get confidence making free throws when crunch time is on, when there's a little bit of heat. We put everybody in heat and every day at practice, and we do it every day from the free throw line. And we did it a little bit more, I guess, yesterday's practice. 2 weeks ago, maybe before, I forget, 2 weeks ago, we shot 300 free throws. And I told you guys that two guys shot 79% and everybody else was way above 80. Guys, we shot 300 again this week. 83 was the lowest percentage. We had 7 guys to shoot over 90. And so we are good free throw shooters. We just got to be able to do it when the bright lights are on, the cameras are on, and that kind of thing. But I do think that this should give them some confidence. But we put them under a little stress from a free throw line every single day. If they miss, they get an opportunity to run more or those nice things like that.
Okay, we got time for a couple more. Hunter Nelson, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. Congrats on 900. So for a team that's as young as yours, they sort of came out sluggish in the first half, playing in front of fans for the first time in the Smith Center. What were some of the adjustments you think they made in the second half, and how do you think the fans impacted the game?
I don't think we came out sluggish because the crowd was there. I think we came out sluggish because Florida State hit us right in the mouth, and we backed up. We didn't handle the fire. We didn't face up to the fire. We got more timid and started, as I said, trying to blame other reasons instead of taking responsibility. I tell you, it was 3,200 or 3,400, whatever it was. It was the best 3,200 crowd I've ever seen in my life, or 3,400. I can't explain to them enough how much a better atmosphere it was. I can't explain to them enough about how helpful it was. And I've never lost a game because of the crowd. But today they helped us win this game because they didn't give up. And I think that I was thrilled for them. I'd be thrilled if we'd get back to a more normal place in our world. I hope we don't start opening things up too quickly and start seeing those spikes come back up with the new variants around. And I watch it every day, guys, every day. I got more knowledge than probably on this stuff than all you guys in front of me there. But the crowd was sensational. It was fun being back in that environment. I didn't even care one time. I was yelling out what play I wanted them to run, and they couldn't hear because the crowd was so loud, and that was a neat deal. But I love our fans and have for 18 years, but this one will go back in my mind to be a game that I'll remember for a long, long time.
Jacob Turner, go ahead.
Hey, Roy, I know you're not big about, talking about personal accomplishments and whatnot, but I got to ask, what does it kind of mean to you to pick up your 900th career win today? And just what was that experience like for you?
Guys, I've said it before. I'll look back on it one of these days and say, hey, that was pretty neat. But I was focused on one thing, trying to help this team get to 15. And we laid a bad egg a couple of days ago, and I wanted to bounce back desperately. I told them I wanted them to have that desperately focused attitude that I'll have. It's neat, and I appreciate all the players that have ever been involved in those things. My assistant coaches, I've had the staff for 33 years. I felt like I've had the best coaching staff in the world, and I believe that every day. But it was nice, but I wanted to get them into the locker room so we could act like a fool. And Steve Robinson and Steve Kirshner, and I really didn't want to do anything, but it was nice. And like I said the other day, though, 69 is not a round number, but I appreciated shooting 69 more than I did 70. And if I had dropped dead walking out before the game today, I would have still had 899. That's not that far from 900, so it's okay.
Kiara Luck.
How's that for an answer?
Sorry. Well, yeah, he kind of took my question out for me, Coach, about your 900th win. But I just wanted to talk about, again, the significance of this team and, what do you hope to kind of carry throughout the remainder of the season and, push for that extra hype going into the postseason?
Well, our focus will be solely on Syracuse. I want them to enjoy this until midnight. An old friend of mine that just passed, Marty Schottenheimer, always said you can enjoy the game to midnight. And then after that, you got to look on to the next one. But I want those kids to enjoy this. I don't think there'll be any videos or anything about our guys out tonight, anything at all like that. They will enjoy this. Now we got to move on. But I'm going to enjoy it to midnight myself. My two oldest grandsons are here, so I'll get a chance to see them for a few minutes before they head back. And I want them to enjoy this game, but to understand Syracuse has got to be our focus. And college basketball's tough. I mean, bam, bam, bam. And the ACC's tough too, because you look at our last three games, it's Florida State, first in our league, at Syracuse, Duke, who's probably playing as well as anybody in our league. So it's a difficult schedule, but let's enjoy this and then focus our tail off on Syracuse and see what we can build on.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, everybody. We'll get the players in shortly. Ryan Keys, go first, please.
Hey, Kerwin, all the young guys have been, going through a pretty big learning curve, especially with a team, playing 5 freshmen. But with Walker's game that he just had, what have you seen as another young guy, him in the locker room? How has he been preparing and what he had to do to get to this moment?
He's been preparing nonstop. Every single practice, before and after, I always see him working on his post move, working on his touch, getting shots up, making sure he's sharp before every game. I mean, he's there before and after practice all the time. And I know all the work he's been putting in, even around shooting rounds. I know he puts a lot of extra work in, and it goes unseen. Maybe except for the coaches, they definitely see it, but that definitely helps us, and it helps him a lot. And I know he's going to keep getting better because this game is definitely going to motivate him to do better.
Andrew Jones.
Hey, Kerwin, how much of the infusement that you guys got today from Walker was him, and how much of it was maybe something the coach said at halftime to kind of get everybody sort of on the same page and raise the energy level?
Well, I think the fans definitely helped us get our energy level up a lot. Just all those people just cheering for us. I think it definitely gave us a lot of energy, and our coaches definitely gave us more energy to telling us we got to play more pride, and the tougher team is going to win. So we just try to come in and bring as much energy as we can, especially Kessler did the same thing, and Kessler just played really big for us.
Mike Topper, go ahead.
Hey, Kerwin. Coach had mentioned it, the first half, not exactly ideal with the turnovers and not shooting the ball as well. What did you guys say to each other in the locker room? And then can you describe sort of that urgency in the second half that was completely different from the first?
Yeah, we just tell each other we got to calm down and be less fidgety with the basketball. It's just it comes down to just everybody moving without the ball, making hard cuts, changing your cuts because they switching everything. So we got to be smarter with how we cut and basically just try our best to take care of the ball. And everybody just try their hardest to get open. That's pretty much all we was talking about.
CL?
Kerwin, last week you guys came off of a big win on Louisville, and Coach Williams said he thought that would have been kind of a springboard to get you guys playing better. How will you guys approach and handle this success of winning a game like this? How will you handle it differently than maybe you handled success after beating Louisville that way?
It's only going to go up for us from here. We're only going to get better, and we're going to continue to play with even more energy, especially now with fans in the building. It's definitely going to help us a lot. Having 32,000 or 3,200, I don't know how many people was in there, but it felt like it was a lot of people by the way they was yelling. But we're gonna keep getting better. We're gonna keep going up from here, and we're gonna be more prepared for the next game.
Adam Smith, go ahead.
Hey, Kerwin, I think Walker had 6 points in the first half, and then he had a couple there right out of the gate in the second half to get you guys started. Was there anything there in the first half or maybe early in the second that you saw out of him, maybe a particular moment where you're like, he's really got it today and we're going to need what he has? Was there anything that sort of registered for you from him?
It just came off to me that he was playing really hard, and he was trying his best to get open. He's cutting hard. He's posting up hard. You see him a couple times. He running down the floor, especially he had the pass from Leaky. It shows that he was sprinting down the court and got an easy dunk. I mean, he had some really good steals in the post. I mean, he's just really working his butt off just to get the ball. So we got to reward him for bringing the energy and bringing all his hard work. And the fact that he keeps on working this way to get the ball is going to help him get all these points.
Brendan.
Kerwin, you guys made all 14 of your free throws in the second half. I think it was 10 of 10 in the last however little bit there when Florida State was trying to come back. Roy has told us now that he's made you guys shoot 300 free throws a couple of different times. Can you give us a little more insight into what that process has taught you guys and how valuable it was tonight?
I think it just shows that we can hit free throws. We're really good free throw shooters, and we're better than what we've been showing in the past. And really, it just comes down to us making them in the games. You know, having the same focus we do in practice when we're shooting our 300 free throws. So it really just comes down to a mental thing and just being able to knock them down.
Thank you.
Luke Buxton.
Kerwin, you talked about earlier how much it means to be part of the Carolina basketball legacy. What about Roy Williams now being a part of this 900th win? Kind of what does that mean to you?
Feels great. Definitely feels a lot. Very great. Right now, I'm just hoping to win more games and be a part of one of his championship teams. That's definitely one of the things I definitely want to be a part of.
Good. Deanna, last one for Kerwin.
Kerwin, how important was it stopping the dribble drive in the second half?
I think it was very important just because they got some really good drivers. They got a couple guys who can really get the ball to the rim. So just being able to stop the dribble drive, forcing some bad shots or turnovers was really big for us, and it definitely showed in the second half. Sometimes they got out of control or they would throw the ball away when we would send more guys to them when they drove. And we just focused on challenging the shooters, and that's how our game plan was.
All right, thank you, Kerwin, very much. We got RJ next.
Hey, RJ, what changed for this team after you went down by 16 there late in the first half?
I think our energy changed, going into the halftime. We had to come together as a group and, actually pick up the energy. We had the fans there, so I think that made a big difference. But also, we came together, so we got to play harder. We got to do the little things. And I think that changed, when we were down 16. And everyone contributed. Everyone to play their role. And that was made us so successful tonight.
CL?
RJ, yesterday Roy told us that he felt like you guys didn't handle success well after that Louisville game, and that's what led to the performance against Marquette. How do you feel like you guys have changed from kind of going through that and learning through a letdown? How do you feel like you guys will handle the success today?
Definitely, that big win against Louisville was a big win for us, but then we laid it against Marquette. So we're trying to reduce, going this up and down, laying the eggs, having a big win. So moving forward, everyone wants to, win. That's the main thing. And you competed. That was the main thing. So I think, handling, these games in the next upcoming days, you have to compete.
Andrew?
Hey, RJ, is it possible to maybe understate the energy that Walker gave you and the way that he infused you guys, sort of helped you guys kind of raise your game to another level?
Yeah, Walker was tremendous today. He, did his thing on the offense, defense. I think I don't know how many blocks he had, but, he was a big factor for us to get today. And he brought energy on both sides of the floor. And, I'm happy for him. He had a great game. We're going to need that for him for the rest of the upcoming games.
Brendan?
Yeah, RJ, I wanted to follow up on Walker. Coach Williams just told us how, there's 2 COVID protocol pauses that Walker had to sit out for 14 days, that was difficult on him right before practices started over the fall. What did he tell you guys, Walker, what did he say as far as how difficult that was on him? And, how has he sort of been able to come back to this point in just a matter of a couple of months?
Definitely, Walker had, difficult, year so far, just having those sitting out 14 days. But I just think that he, stayed confident and stayed ready whenever his number was called. And you could see that for the last couple of games. And today he showed why, when his number was called, he was ready to go out there and compete at an all-time high. And, I respect that from him. And I'm happy for him.
All right, Brian Keys, last one, and then we'll get Walker in here.
Hey, RJ, I don't know if any of the first years have talked at all with each other about, if anyone's planning on leaving early, but just thinking forward for the future, how do you think wins like this after a pretty up and down season, but just beating the number one team in the ACC is going to help the young guys who are presumably going to be together for at least a couple of years moving forward?
I mean, it boosts confidence, and now we get a taste of like what ACC basketball is like. Especially guys coming back, how to compete and how to play against these top teams in the ACC. So it'll definitely be good for us now that we have that we got a chance to play the number one team in the ACC and beat them. So we just gotta remain humble and hungry and move forward.
Thanks, RJ. All right, we can raise hands with questions for Walker Kessler, please. He'll be in momentarily. Aaron Beard, go first, please.
Hey Walker, I'm curious. This is the best team in the ACC, leading the league, and this is a heck of a way to have the best game of your freshman season so far. What was it about this game or this style of play that sort of brought this out of you today?
I mean, first off, props to Florida State. They're a very talented team, and we saw that in the first and second half, but especially in the first half, we struggled. I couldn't really tell you, honestly. I just think that our whole team stepped up, and there's fans. Shout out to the fans for coming, and obviously they couldn't come before, but just a combination of just a bunch of stuff.
Greg Barnes.
Hey Walker, Garrison and Ramondo, neither of them got a field goal attempt in the first half. FSU was pretty effective defensively in the post. Did you see anything from the sideline before you came in that you could exploit, or what changed for you when you got in the game and were able to get into a rhythm?
I wouldn't say really exploit, but I mean, they always tried to front the post. So, just trying to, before he does, swing your hip towards the high side. But I wouldn't really say there's anything to exploit.
Brendan.
Hey, Walker. Roy has told us a little bit about the difficult start to the season you had, having that pause right before practices start. Can you just tell us what was that experience like in your own words? How difficult was it? And, getting back to this point, how validating is it to have this sort of performance?
It was tough. It was really tough, but I mean, everyone in the country is going through stuff. So I'm really no different. I just think, as far as performance goes, I just think our whole team did really well. And, I mean, a lot of my points were just, I was in the right place at the right time, had guards and everyone bigs, just, throwing the ball when I was 2 feet away from the basket. So, props to them too.
Hunter, go ahead.
Hey, Walker, congratulations on the win. So just by looking at the shirt right there, Roy Williams' 900th win, pretty heavy on the team's mind. How much were you guys thinking about that going into the game? And did it sort of become a reality at some point as the game went on?
This is going to sound bad, but to be honest, I didn't realize it until about halftime. And then at halftime, I was all right. We gotta step it up.
CL.
Hey Walker, at what point during the comeback did you feel like we got them? Like you knew that you guys were going to be able to kind of complete that rally?
Going into the halftime huddle, I just felt like we had a rough start with 14 turnovers, and they played well. They played very well. I just think we played poorly in the first, or I say poorly, not our best game. I just knew is probably the wrong word. I had a very strong indication that we were going to win that game at halftime. And then we kind of made a little run down by 2. And I was like, all right, we can win this.
Adam, go ahead.
Hey, Walker. At the end, when the game went final and you guys were going out onto the court to celebrate a little bit, before you got chest bumped by pretty much everyone in here, it looked like you took a look around for just a little bit, maybe at the crowd, or I'm not sure. Was that just something you were trying to enjoy, this win and in that moment? Like, what were you thinking and what were you feeling there?
Well, it wasn't the empty seats. So yeah, it was definitely the crowd. I mean, that was my first time experiencing anything like that. So I get kind of chills and kind of smiling about it because it was like a seventh full. 3,000 out of 21,000. It was kind of lost words, honestly. It was absolutely amazing.
Pat, can you mute whatever that is? Thank you.
It's everyone outside in the arena, unfortunately. Brendan, go ahead.
Hey Walker, yeah, I was just going to follow up on that. Did you hear the crowd chanting your name at one point? And if so, what did that feel like as well?
I might have heard it. Once again, it's lost words. Playing at a historic program in a historic arena, hearing your name, so it's pretty cool. I would recommend it if you've never experienced it.
Kiara, go ahead.
Hey Walker, I just wanted to kind of talk about Coach Williams' comments on you. He said that he loves you because you care so much. What about your return to 100% and keeping your head up has really brought you full circle?
I think a lot of it has just been the encouragement of the staff and the players and everyone around me. Nothing but encouragement. And I think that just speaks so much to the leadership of the coaching staff and the seniors and juniors and sophomores and even freshmen. Everyone pats you on the shoulder and tells you get your head up and, keep going. That sounds kind of bad, but you get what I'm saying. They encourage you just to keep you moving forward.
Cam Cunningham, last one.
Walker, when you have a great game like tonight, what do the older bigs say to you after the game?
Just great game. That's pretty much it. With more, water and screaming and chanting. But just a great game.
Thanks, Walker. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, of course.
There's
that I'll send out, but